Jorge, I don't know. I think that these are a little too violent for Christmas. I mean, I know they look icicle-y and all, but I just... Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of Canada's Drag Race versus the World, Episode 5, Sweet Marie and the Ships at Sea. Look at me. I'm like Frosty the Snow Scissorhands or something. I just want to thank Nick Sweet. He sent me these nails, which just come off. They just literally come off. I think these are very user-friendly. I don't know. This is the kind of thing that I wouldn't be worried about anyone else in the room but me. This is the kind of thing that I would absolutely just, I go like, oh, I have something in my eye. Oh, it's my finger. And this is why I like to keep it simple. Do you see what I'm saying? I want to send a thank you to Chris, who sent me this gorgeous card. This is it's an Andy Warhol. I also want to send a thank out to Stephanie Sunwanaparp. I always drop the T, Stephanie. I don't know why. Suntwanaparp. She sent me this fabulous card. I also need to thank Michael Swearington. He sent me this gorgeous card. It's bears getting Christmas trees up on a car. I'm going to put that up on the wall. I'm blocking them. I thought I'd arranged them in a way that wouldn't block them, but no. I also need to send a huge big thank you and shout out to Martha Grunwald, who sent me not only this card with the kitty, what did I do at the Christmas party? What didn't you do at the Christmas party? But she also sent me this. Oh, look at sparkly and shiny. This is the Trixie Mattel brush set from the Sweet Shop collection that she just released. Her brushes are spectacular. Martha, I haven't used them yet. They're open, they're ready, but I wanted to show them off nice and clean. I've also got some tipperdoos to thank. Mark Atha, thank you for the gift, Mark. You're such a doll. Karen Ross from California wished me a merry everything with her tipperdoo. Thank you, Karen. Catherine McGreechin called me fabulous with her tipperdoo. And of course, it wouldn't be a Fingerdoo review without my tipperdoo boyfriend, Vito, popping by. I love you, Vito. If you'd like to support me with a fabulous tipperdoo, well, the link for that is down below. Now, Jorge, drink me. Oh, look at this. Not festive. No, just a regular Coke Zero and vodka. Is it? I don't know why I complain, Jorge. I don't know why I complain. It's delish. Okay, so let's get to it. Needless to say, it was an emotional group of queens after last week's episode. Because there was no one to say goodbye to, the queens got down to congratulating Victoria Scone for her first lip sync win of the season and for her second time in a row, making top 2. Raja and Vanity both took a moment to breathe a sigh of relief and to thank the powers that be for their save. And by powers that be, I mean Isis Couture. No offense, but as unexpected and sudden as her self-elimination was, and as much as they wished Isis well, they clearly knew that if she'd stayed, it would have been a different situation on that runway. I'm so serious. And then they got down to it. Whose lipstick did Victoria have? Well, it was Vanity's, and I, for one, am not surprised. No offense to Vanity. She's just not on the same level as the rest of the queens. Don't get me wrong. She'll get there. But she's not going to do it today, bless her. Silky, on the other hand, decided not to show hers then and there for her mental health. But as the queens de-dragged, it was clear that she was actually looking out for Vanity's mental health. In a private-ish moment, Silky showed Vanity that it was, well, her lipstick that she had, and that she didn't want to give Vanity a double whammy on the sofa. Personally, I prefer my double whammies on the sofa. The next day, the queens were greeted by Tracy Melshore and her luscious boobs. Did you see Raja trying not to look at them? I feel like she was thinking the same thing I was. Have they always been there? As she continued to dazzle, Tracy announced that this week's Maxi Challenge wasn't just an acting challenge, it was also an action challenge. The queens would be following in the steps of such femme fatales as Kissy Suki, Plenty O'Toole, Holly Goodhead, Xenia Onatop, and, well, of course, Pussy Galore. I know those are Bond girls, but it sounds like the cast of Drag Race Season 15. Oh, yeah! The top 5 would be acting the house down boots in the brand new action-adventure movie trailer, Spy Queens. And because she'd won last week, Victoria got to cast the roles. So after a quick read of the script, they got down to it. The roles were Mother of the House, the Spy Queen's matriarch, which Rita was all over in a hot flash. She was the only one. Next up was the lip sync assassin, a dancer, a combat expert, and a stunt queen, whose big moves would be done by a stunt double. Vanity wanted that one, of course she did, but she got shut down by Silky, whose selling point was that there was no way they'd get a stunt double to match her, and that in itself would be hilarious. Well, she wasn't wrong, but where's the sisterly love for Vanity? It's okay for her to get railroaded as long as it's one of her sheroes running the train? Seriously. Silky clearly didn't care, especially since she got the part over Vanity. In Silky's defense, Vanity did nothing to fight for it, bless her. Next up for grabs was the Body a super strong and sexy spy that no one seemed to want. So Victoria gave it to Raja. Hell, I wouldn't be mad at being cast as the Body I don't even need the Adi part, just saying. The role of the Look Queen, a mistress of disguise, went to Vanity, much to her chagrin, which is why she should have fought more for the lip sync assassin part. She only has herself to blame, seriously. There were a couple of queens who wanted the part of the reading fundamentalist, but Victoria shut them all down and took it for herself. Sucks to be everyone else, is what I'm saying. Personally, I think Victoria fought for the role because, well, the script called for her and Silky's characters to kiss. And as sparks seemed to fly during their lip sync lip lock last week, I was thinking that Miss Vicky wanted to get herself another helping off the Silktoria menu. And Silky seemed more than okay with that. As one would expect, there were some obvious disappointments over the roles where some of the queens were concerned. I don't want to name names, but follow my eyes. Although, I must say, Vanity had the right attitude. Even though the Look Queen had less lines than everyone else, she was going to give it 100. 100 what I have to do. While the queens familiarized themselves with their lines, Victoria and Silky compared notes on the trials and tribulations of life as plus-size models. I wouldn't know. Then it was on to the set to shoot the Spy Queens trailer with their director, Tracy Melshore. For the most part, everyone did fairly well. The standouts were definitely Rita and Victoria. They seemed to have more developed characters than the other queens. Raja's past difficulty remembering her lines seemed to have followed her to Canada, but she soldiered through, and, well, most of Silky's notes were for little things that were easily fixed, but the queen who definitely struggled the most was Vanity. She got a lot of direction and many notes from Tracy, which seemed to do more harm than good, if you ask me, I'm just saying. As the queens got ready for the runway, Vanity was still stewing over her less than stellar performance in the main challenge, poor thing. Thank goodness the talk turned to the queens' relationships. Okay, Victoria's and Vanity's relationships. They talked about how their partners were dating two people because of their drag characters and how supportive they both were, although Vanity did admit that her husband wasn't too keen about her being a drag queen off the hop. He's clearly gotten over it as he now makes most of Vanity's gorgeous runway looks. You see why Vanity married him, I'm just saying. Speaking of the runway, Brooklyn Heights was serving latex dominatrix, which, ironically, was my drag queen name in high school. Brad Goreski was looking marvelous in mesh. Tracy was looking extra gorgeous in green, and joining them this week at the judges' table, was celebrity stylist Joe Z, who was beyond handsome in his satin baseball jacket. Ooh. You think he's a pitcher? Category is Y2Gay, 2000s Club Kids. Now, I don't know what the hell Rita was dressed as, but I loved it. She looked like a cross between one of those fortune-telling machines and, well, a bingo ball hopper. I gave it a Fingerdoo because it glowed in the dark. Vanity looked gorgeous as a Valkyrian superhero, but I fear the Club Kid look was her secret identity because I didn't see it. So I gave her a pinky do because she looked spectacular. Spectacular. Victoria Scone's entrance was epic. The first one, I mean, because, well, she broke the set. Talk about Canadian craftsmanship at work. Victoria's second entrance was less dramatic, but that didn't make it less beautiful. My only complaint? That wig. It didn't sing to me. Still gave her a Fingerdoo. Silky was another one who wasn't serving Club Kid for me. Don't get me wrong, she looked cute, but I don't feel her look was what the runway asked for. To be fair, I don't think anyone asked for it. Raja was one of the only queens who was not only a club kid, in my opinion, but a kid from a club I wanted to join. I loved the look. I loved the color. My only complaint was where her head was concerned. Well, that deflated Teletubby, doohickey, is what I'm talking about. It distracted me, but she totally got a Fingerdoo regardless. Then it was time to watch Spy Queens. I'm not going to lie, this was painful. The funniest moment for me was Silky's stunt double, which in of itself was sad. I'm so serious. Everyone did okay, but I feel that that was as much a part of the editing as anything. The only one the editing didn't seem to help was poor Vanity, who still came off wooden and flat, which was also the name of my fringe play. After the judges' deliberation, they announced that the top two queens were Rita Baga and, once again, Victoria Scone. That's 3 in a row for Miss Scone. Well done, just saying. Landing in the bottom was, well, as expected, Vanity Milan and, surprise, surprise, Silky Nutmeg Ganache. No offense to anyone, but I kind of thought Silky would be safe this week, but I guess production didn't want a repeat of Raja and Vanity being in the bottom again. Am I the only one who thinks that? Back in the workroom, Silky wasn't in agreement that she should have been in the bottom, so it wasn't just me. Vanity, on the other hand, was clearly up in her feels over being in the bottom. Again. And had a big old wallow in them. Who wouldn't? I do have to say, I was really over Vanity this week. Her poor pitiful me scenario of not getting a fair chance to rep her melanated sisters in the UK would have held more water if she wasn't up against Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Because whatever you think about Silky, she's a fierce queen. A hell of a lot fiercer than Vanity at any rate, I'm just saying. Back on the main stage, Rita and Victoria had to lip sync to Estelle's Freak featuring Cardinal Official. I have to say, Rita surprised me this week. Even though I thought both queens did well, she just seemed to sparkle that little bit more. I'm going to blame the comedy in her game. So, when the music died, it was no surprise to me that Rita Baga was this week's winner, and boy, was she happy about it. Probably because she got $10,000 for her troubles. Suck on that, Pink Iceland, seriously. And whose lipstick did Rita have? Unsurprisingly, it was Vanity's. Here's to her. She did make it to top 4 after all. And while I'm at it, here's to our top 4 queens. Next week, it's the finale. Who do you see winning it all? Victoria has been in the top 2 3 times. Is that enough for her to take the crown? Rita and Silky have both been in the top 2 twice. Could that split the judges' votes? And what about Raja? She's only been in the top 2 once, but is this finally her time to win? All we can do is tune in to Canada's Drag Race versus the World next week to find out who will reign supreme. And then, when you're done, you come on back and you see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Also, share this video with anyone you know who is as much of a Drag Race fan as you and I are. And I do have links down below for several many ways that you can help support this channel, including the YouTube donation tab, which is a little heart with the money sign in it, down below. I'm just saying. Until next week, miss me! Mwah! Seriously, boy. I wish Vanity had made a stronger play to stay in the game. I just felt that after 3 times being in the bottom, her saying, oh, you know, I get it. I totally get it. But, oh God, Raja and Silky, I mean, Vanity even came in awe of them. So she either needed to be better than them, have enough courage to try to be better than them, or just accept that she would be there as long as she could be there. Of course, I would love to see a Canadian win, which at this point means Rita Baga, and she totally deserves it. I thought she was going to win season 1, but I think Victoria's done such an excellent job. She is the front runner. To tell you the truth, of the top 4, I wouldn't have a problem with any of them winning because they're all such excellent queens. I've enjoyed them all. Like that core four have been solid throughout the whole enchilada. Even if they weren't good in a challenge, they're good, solid queens. The runways have been great. This has been a fun season, but I'm so glad it was only 6 episodes. Oh, I'm not strong enough. If it had been 7 or 8, I don't know. I might have cracked. I'm just saying. Oh, I'm so fragile. I'm a flower.